Morning, everyone. Everybody doing all right? All right. Get it through.
I will open it up for questions. You have microphones on both sides. Go ahead and start with Ben.
You want someone else?
Well, it's your show. You go ahead. I don't know. Well, I would. It'd change up the mojo, but it's.
I know.
I told you that.
Okay. Well, maybe next week.
Yeah.
We'll get around to it. I want to ask you a little bit about Jason Bean's day and what you felt like he did better, and how much did it help that he was able to give you some run production too.
Yeah. I think a week ago we sat in here and you're essentially asking, but not asking if we're contemplating a change, and he goes out and he plays in his best game yet, and we challenged him, and he knew he needed to play better for us and for himself, and I'm really proud the way he responded, and I think that whole first drive was just so beneficial for this program and that offense, just to run that many plays and do it in a way with discipline and physicality and things like that, and mixing up is just a great sign to see, and got us off to the start that we wanted. We won the toss that was, we tried that at Iowa State with the same thing, was we take the ball and try to take the crowd out of it a little bit there on the road. This time we wanted to take the ball and hang on to it a little bit and gain some confidence and prevent them from striking quickly, and that worked out, and he was a big part of that.
And then how much do you think that opening drive just kind of helped everybody on the team, maybe not just the offense, but just...
I think absolutely. I think when you look at the first half holistically as a football team, and to keep them off the scoreboard is our defense did a very nice job, but it was equally the offense limiting them to like 20 plays. I mean, it goes hand in hand, and much like I've said before, is when we've been struggling and not playing well, that it's been on all three phases. It has plenty of accountability. Well, there's parts of this game where all three phases, especially in the first half, were part of all that success, and all those things, of course, keeps enforcing our beliefs that for us to be the program we want to be, is that we're gonna have to do it in all three phases and collectively lean on one another to do so.
You guys got good production out of the passing game from Kwame and from Lawrence Arnold in particular. What did you feel like made those guys successful?
Yeah, again, I think all those guys are getting more comfortable in what we do. I think Lawrence Arnold's a young man who's continues to build on confidence over the plays he's made, but he's also reducing the amount of assignment errors that he's had, and that's become with confidence and repetition. But that receiver core continues to kind of show that it's got depth and has ability to help us. But to see Kwame do different things, and to me, one of the best plays that we had, maybe that will stick out in my mind as far as progression again as a football team, is him lowering his shoulder and going to get a first down on an important catch. We had, we've been working for a long time here since we've arrived in those type of situations about sometimes, going out of bounds. Jason goes out of bounds at the 1. We've talked about that, and we keep, we've just got some habits we're continually trying to break. But to see Kwame do that and do it with, acceleration and the things that we drill, and to see that is a huge step, and to see his confidence and a variety of catches is great to see.
I think Trevor Wilson went without a catch for the first time this year.
Yeah, Trevor didn't play as much, and nothing really that Trevor didn't do or anything. He had a couple carries, but part of that has to do with Luke Grimm, and Luke had not just a week before, but he's had an excellent week of practice and did some good things. Again, now Trevor is continue to work hard. We got to find ways to balance all of that and kind of, get him back in the flow as well.
You mentioned Graham. I think that was his first start in a while. What has he done? What have you seen from him the past several weeks?
What has he done to do that? Yeah, well, he's been banged up a little bit too, but again, consistency. I think, he and Trevor, share most of that time. I think, I don't know. I can't say that it's not a lot of things that he hasn't done per se, but I think Trevor was playing with a lot of confidence and doing things. And a week ago, we really split the reps a lot with the whole receiver, partially with score, but didn't do it as much this week. I'd like to see it maybe a little more as we move forward, just for having freshness. But again, we didn't run a ton of plays in the game. So more importantly, I like the way that we have, more than one or two guys, and I've been around that many times in our career, where you're just trying to take the one real, your one threat and just trying to line them up in different places, and it doesn't take people long to figure that out, and that. But we're starting to show that we have different people to go to.
I wondered how, I guess the word is fragile. How fragile is the momentum that you can gain from that game? Put another way, I mean, can that carry through the rest of the season, or does it depend on, hey, we got to play well this week to keep that in play?
Well, you hope it's a building block, but again, we lost the game. I mean, we can't lose sight of that sometimes. And I think that's where I sometimes, quite honestly, feel it's fragile. Is I want to acknowledge the positive. I want to do what could have been too, and really what we'd be talking about, and where we, but it's really what happens here in the rest of the way is this. It's even though we lost, it's still, you lost 6 straight, but yet you go out today and you've got a little bit more confidence and you got a little more enthusiasm about going, because again, they start seeing results start happening a little bit better, and they understand. And so, those are building blocks, but you're playing another excellent football team on the road, and we've got to find a way to are you going to be just a blip in here on this thing, and that you played, whatever, 3.5 really good quarters, or what is it? Or are we really doing, are we starting to move it a little bit more than we had been?
Are you kind of along the same lines? Are you getting the sense, you mentioned Bean had his best game, a couple of those receivers playing better because they're figuring it out a little more. Are you getting the sense that November will be your best month for this team?
Well, we want it to be, and again, timeline of being here, and you're always coaching for improvement, and you'd want to be playing your best football late in the season if you're still dealing with the same bodies and you're healthy and all those things into the equation. You want that to be the case, that we are playing our best, and I'd say, have I been seeing it? I guess I was trying to remember exactly what you're asking there. Is I've been seeing other things. I think I've said that here on other Tuesdays, is this group is starting to do the little things that are not always on the field better than we've ever done. And we're reducing our lists, our things that we always talk about going about it on a daily basis, has continued to get better. So they understand that is the expectation. They're buying in, they're working at it more and more. They're seeing results of some of the things that they are asked to do, that it does pay off, and that we're not changing our like I said, the expectation of how we do it. And but all those things, I think we're getting, and they're seeing it, and it's playing out to where we want it to be. Just again, not showing up on the scoreboard as fast as we wanted.
You mentioned Kwame. I know he started his career as a walk-on, and this year he's going to finish his career at Kansas in the top 10 in receptions. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, obviously this is only year 1 you've been with him, but what have you seen from him that can maybe, make you not as surprised to see that he's one of the top 10 receivers that Kansas ever had in that respect?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of quite all those things. I know, you know, his brother's a walk-on in the program. Surprising, no, because a little bit of what I saw last year and see his work ethic this summer, fall camp. But the thing I love about him is from the second he sat down in my office in our first meeting, it was his passion for this university and this program. And honestly, you know, that's what you want. He really didn't care who I was and who was sitting there because he was about the University of Kansas and Jayhawk football. And I really respect that. And that's what he was going to make sure that he can do everything he can to make this program better and for himself to get better along the way.
Are there any, maybe walk-ons or former walk-ons from your time at Buffalo that he reminds you of in any way?
Oh, wow. Sometimes I start asking to go through, there's probably some guys that I'd have to get back to you on that one. I'd take up too much time, but there's some guys along the way that go about it. And I guess that's hard for me to gauge because he's a scholarship player when I inherited him, so to speak, and to go about it. But, you know, there's a part about how he goes about doing it with confidence. He's not the most vocal, but he will be some. But I think he's someone that when he walks in the locker room or he's going to do something, people respect it because of how he goes about it, the effort, how he finishes, all the things that we wanted to instill. He was doing most of those and doing them well already.
Hey, Lance, what did the film tell you about your guys' physicality against Oklahoma?
Yeah, it was better. I would assume that's probably why you asked a little bit. I think it showed on the short yardage. You know, both short yardage plays, we fitted up well. Obviously, Rich makes the stop, driving his feet, driving him back, and then pretty unique play in football happens. But I thought we were better that way. I thought some of the new wrinkles we put in gave us a chance, you know, Kyron Johnson with the sack and doing things. But I thought overall that we came out with a good physical mentality in that game. But of course, we'll always want it to improve. And we're going to need to improve because this is a big physical football team we play this week.
Yeah, you mentioned this too, just it still being a loss. When you're rewatching it, is there one or two things that you're rewatching and saying, man, you know?
Oh, yeah, there's shoulda, couldas, right? Yeah, I think it goes back to things we say all the time is that, you know, most games are decided, you know, between 3 and 5 plays, or, you know, you can break that down and you could break down those 4th down plays. You could touchdown called back, you know, balls on the ground. We have a chance to recover it, but I'm not saying these to single out the people that are involved in those plays, but yeah, there's a few of those that you want, but you know, I don't know if I'd ever, you know, we'd be standing here thinking that we're going to be talking this way. Let's be honest, and that we punt one time with 1 turnover. Was a 14-play drive to start the game, a 10-play drive just to answer their touchdown in the 3rd quarter. Those are things that we hadn't been able to do. So those are the ones I've kind of want to make sure that I'm emphasizing that we can do it, and we're going to need to do those things again.
I wanted to ask you about that first drive of the second half. What did you see from Devon on that particular drive?
That was a long run? Was that the long run?
He kind of groaned.
Again, everything about his play, I think most of you have seen is if you look back to that first game, you know, a little bit more of undecisiveness, shoulders a little bit more towards the sideline on some things. And then, you know, he's just continually gotten better at, you know, getting his pad level down, driving through contact, moving piles, seeing things with more confidence. And I think he'd also be right there with me telling it, this offensive line has improved, and holistically, those things are working together. And then when you get that, and Jason Bean, takes a step in his game, and now some of the balance that we want to have and ultimately will need starts to show itself.
Yeah, and last one, I just didn't know if you'd gotten any clarification from the Big 12 office on any calls you might have sent to them.
I haven't yet. I've had some messaging with them, and was going to connect last night and didn't. That may take place today. I think, I mean, from what I've read and what I've seen, and I kind of know, and it's not going to change anything it's going to be said momentum wasn't stopped. Ball didn't, ball didn't cross the line of scrimmage, legal forward handoff. And we've sent in what we think. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll open it up to Zoom. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Lance, it seems like about every 30 minutes you're seeing somebody enter the portal these days. What do you see good and what do you see bad as you're building this?
Building our pro or the port. I guess I want to make sure I clarify what I see good and bad about that, or
Yeah, as where you're at right now and how you want to build it. What are the good things that the portal can give you, and what are the negatives?
well, I just say simply for anybody, you can without sitting out, you can get experienced players, older players into your roster that have played in 4-year programs. And then it's the unknown. It's the unknown within your roster of players that, patience and development, as we talked a lot about developing in our time. Well, young men have, I'm looking at these phones on this podium, and everything is instant, and everybody wants instant results. And, you're recruited and you talk about, opportunity and playing time. And yet realistically, we all know it's a case by case situation. And some young men aren't patient. And I, not just in our program, I think a lot of young men are going to make mistakes and give up very good opportunities, not just in football, but in life development and resources. So it's a balancing act. And, but like you said, you can plug areas where you're deficient with experienced players. Of course, that they're fitting your culture, and but also at the same time, you've got to make sure you keep your roster that you currently have, and those that are going to help you get there as well.
And as you watch Oklahoma State, what are some things that stand out about them?
Big and physical, balanced, excellent football team. It's been a lot of years since I've been down there, but it's a excellent environment. Fans are right on top of you, but well coached. I think the size. By the time I left here on Saturday, I was able to catch part of the I don't know if it was late third or fourth quarter, a little bit while people were at the house, but saw some guys making some big time plays and catches for them. Excellent quarterback. But again, when you look at statistically, they're to me, they're a lot what we want to be, and that's a balanced football team that's physical up front on both sides of the ball, and it'll be a big challenge for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else?
Good.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.